Righto.
Hola, people.
Hello, hello.
Hola, ¿cómo
Wow.
están?
Yeah. Um, so tonight we're gonna have fun. Tonight, uh, we're starting a new series in Deviant Witchery where we will discuss anything. We will talk about maybe recent events. We'll talk about if y'all are present and you want to talk about anything witchy related. We'll do our best to have a discussion. This is your time to ask us questions. You might not get a response though, depending on question. But yeah, if you want to talk about anything witchy, this is the time to do it. So I wanted to start out this show with a quote on something that we're going to discuss, and it was really fun. I love it. So you okay? So what this individual saying, honor your shadow, or that wild bitch will fuck you so hard, no amount of cold pressed organic coconut oil will make it better.
I love that whole article.
I love it too. So, why don't y'all, Miss Melissa, since you love the article so much, why don't you tell us about this article and like just go over the basic expression of the article, and then we can discuss it. And if y'all have read the article, chime in. If not, I will post it in, yeah, over there.
Okay, well, basically, the article is just saying that there's a lot of witches, a lot of people, even, not necessarily witches, but that are all about love and light and think positive and basically all the hippy dippy vibes. And I love the hippy dippy vibes, okay? I was raised by hippies, so I really and truly do enjoy that. But her point is if you ignore the dark stuff, the bad, horrible, decaying bullshit that we all have inside of us, then you are walking blind throughout the world. You know, you are just totally in a state of naivete. And it's going to fuck you hard without lube.
With no lube and no spit and nothing, just nothing. No coconut oil, nothing.
Right, and you know, and not to say that thinking positive isn't a good thing, because it definitely is. But there are times in your life where life will leave you on the floor in a fetal position wondering why me, oh dear gods, why me? And that's going to happen, and that is what makes us who we are today. That is what helps us grow. And that was the point of her article. It really, really bugs me that some people were just like, well, when you end a conversation with, darkness and misery, that's just horrible. And I always say love and light at the end of all of my statements. Fine.
Well,
Fine. Say love and light all the hell you want to. But don't be realistic about how the world is.
Well, yeah, and I
Go ahead.
all I was just going to say was I don't even like, I have a problem with you saying love and light, which is probably going to sound really, really petty and really dumb, but I hate it. I hate it so bad. Like, can you not just say bye? Can you not just say, like, see you later? Hasta luego. Like, what? Figure it out. Like,
Bye,
why does it have to
Felicia.
be love and light? It's like
do
blessed
not
be
say
all
bye,
over
Felicia.
again.
If you say bye, Felicia, I will throw a rock at your head.
It's like blessed be all over again. Don't get me wrong. Blessed be, whatever. At least it has some connotation historically. Love and light is just some random fucking shit that just started happening. And, like, I guess it's supposed to be like a reference to, like, goodwill to you, but it just makes our community look fucking stupid, in my opinion. It just really does. Because, you know, we're not all about love and light. This is fucking witchcraft, people. This is nitty gritty. Just, it can be as wonderfully love and light as it possibly can. But at the same time, let's not forget that, like, low down sewer dwelling darkness that it can get to, and then just the nasty gore of humanity and what it is. I mean, it has both. I mean, and it lives in a place of darkness, truly. And that's really where it's supposed to be. Its a natural state is in the dark. We are not, and will never be, a part of mainstream society. Therefore, we will always be on the edge. We will always be, the people that live way far fucking out, and we only see normal society when someone needs something, and that's really what our service is, and that's where we're at. So Love and Light just has this stupid, non-truthful connotation with it, and that's why I hate it. So no, I'm gonna say, don't say that, and also don't ignore your shadows, because you're stupid if you do.
Well, and I'm just going to come in and... Okay, so honestly, I actually don't have an issue. I do and I don't. Like, there are a few people in my life who totally embody love and light, but they're, like, they also embody... And this article, and I posted it in the Google event, so if y'all want to know what we're talking about, the article's in the Google event. But she says blessings... She, right? Yeah.
Yes,
she says blessings, love and light, and immeasurable darkness. I think that's pretty sexy. I don't mind when people say love and light, depending on who it is, if they understand what it means, if they understand the expression of it. Because there are people who say love and light, and I've had very few people in my life who that's who they are, and that's what they express. But when they express love and light, their expression of love and their expression of light is with the understanding that love hurts and light can damage. Like, it's not what everyone thinks of when they hear love and light, So the people that say that to me, the very few people again, it doesn't bother me because I know where it's coming from. I know their understanding, and not, just, you can say whatever you want, and I think the idea of trying to be positive and expressing something, I'm being so fucking PC, that is so weird for me. But the energy behind it, the reason that people say it, I can honor. Like, I get it. I get that people want to be uplifted and they want to, be happy. But at the same time, just saying love and light without even understanding the words, understanding what it means to you, just like going through the motion and saying love and light, love and light, love and light, marry me, marry part, blessed be, 2 fucks I don't give. So, just all this shit you say, words have power, and as much as we know that words have power, so if all we're saying is love and light, what if someone is going through a really fucking shitty day and they don't want to hear love and light? What if someone is going through some really dark shit, some really challenging shit, and the next person that says love and light to them is going to, make them snap? And, I mean, that's not necessarily on you, per se, but at the same time, we have to take into consideration our words and how we engage the world around us. I'm kind of rambling, so...
Well, I was just going to say... Oh, sorry, honey.
Well, I was just going to add what he was saying about some people might not need to hear that all the time. It just brought me to a place where I used to work. I was an apprentice mortician for 4 years. And we were not allowed to answer the phone with good morning. A lot of people, when you call a business, you would go, good morning, so-and-so and so-and-so, this is so-and-so speaking. Like, that's what a lot of people do. We were not, as a funeral home, as a mortuary, we were not allowed to say that because you would have gotten a death call on the phone. So it's like, my mom's dead, I'm going to call a funeral home, and then you hear this really chipper voice on the other end go, good morning, so-and-so funeral home. Or so-and-so mortuary. No, they don't need to hear it. And it's the same. I love that expression, Michael, because you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's totally the same. And, with me, I don't know, maybe I was just conditioned, but, my mom's response to everything was, overly cheery, super positive. That's just the way she was. And, yes, it was annoying. She's one of those, weird morning people that just wakes up and is like, la la, it's morning. And run around the house singing and, get up, time for school. And I'm just like, God, make her stop.
Right.
So that's just the way she was. And yes, it was annoying, but I understood that that is who she was. She was true to that. That did not change. Even in some of the crappiest circumstances that our family went through, it didn't change. She was always going to be the one that looked on the bright side of things. You know, that is someone who is definitely true to who they are. And to me, it did not, well, it was my mother, and I love my mother, so obviously it wasn't going to bother me too much because it was my mother. But I admired that quality in her, because she could take some of the darkest stuff and turn it into something positive, even when you didn't want it. And yes, sometimes I feel like it was kind of detrimental, because I feel like she sort of, didn't really grasp some of the things, and was taken advantage of a lot, and
Right.
things like that. And that's a common trend in people who are like that, because they just give and give and give, and they don't know when to say stop.
Right.
But that was her thing, and that's fine.
Right.
As long as she's okay with it, what are you gonna do? So.
Well, I in that situation with someone just being naturally like super chipper,
Mhm.
like whatever. I'm not like that. I mean, I'm positive. It's not like I'm down in the dumps all the time. It's not.
Right.
It's not like that. I think people say it because it's some stupid trend that somebody.
Exactly, and it is.
It's not really. It's just like. Not that I have not had my fair share of blessed be moments. Look, I was a white lighter for a very, very long time. Well, I wasn't really, but I was surrounded by them. So all my friends were. So it was kind of like I was like the emo kid in the corner. But like that, until I was brought out to the true light by some friends and some good colleagues. But not that I don't appreciate those people from my past and my friends that I have then, and a lot of them I'm still friends with, but that's just not my scene. And they just say it because it's something that slips off the tongue. And it's like, oh, love and light, blessings, blah, blah, blah. And that's good. Like, it's like when a Christian says, have a blessed day, or God bless you. Like, I get it, I understand it, I'm okay with it, but don't. At this point, it's becoming to where every new witch sees this love and light trend, and they think that there is this branch between light and dark, and we should always strive to be on the light, and that's inhuman. It's just inhuman.
Well,
It's just.
I will say, and this is my opinion, but I think most Christians who say have a blessed day and all this stuff, I feel that they understand what that means. They understand the power of the words. They channel that energy. So when they say it, like, I can feel it. But I feel like we have this disconnect as practitioners of all sorts when we say love and light, blessed be, merry meet, merry part. I feel like it's like this, we're expected to say certain things, and there's no connection, there's no energy behind the words, there's no, like, actual...
It's like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, and
the main reason why, and I think, is because in the Christian community, they are, like, in churches together. This is what they're saying to each other. This is, like, their actual life.
Right.
This is what they're practicing, and with other people, like, in their town, in their community. It's not online. I mean, obviously it extends to online, but it's like a group of people that are constantly talking this way. They're constantly that way, and so they truly, deeply believe it.
And that's very interesting to talk about, because in saying that, there's this sisterhood, this brotherhood, this energy that they create, because they do go to church regularly, they share, they do all this. So there's this, when they say something, there's power to that word or those words, because they share it and they feel it and they express it regularly, and they create that. And I'm kind of getting off topic, but I also
but it's true, it's different. In that sense, have a blessed day is so different than love and light. And it's like Susie just said, love and light has become a catchphrase, just as the triple moon sign, the two parentheses, marks, 0 in the middle, has become a rapid way to sign off. And that's so true, and to me that is almost disrespectful. in so many ways,
But
because it's just like this thing we do. It's not something that we are putting thought in.
right, and
You
before,
know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. And before I express what I was going to say, I just want to say for everyone that's just joined us, we're talking about this blog post that I put in the Google event that you can check out. And again, if you have any questions, if you want to talk about anything witchy, if you have anything you want to share and create a discussion, feel free to use a Q&A and we'll talk about it. That's kind of what this is going to be about. Just sharing and interacting and talking about different things that we're passionate about. I will say that I know a lot of people were angry about this specific blog post, but it just tickles me. It makes me laugh because this is the way I speak. This is the way I am, and a lot of people are very uncomfortable with saying fuck or saying shit and wording things a certain way. And again, words do have power. This blog post did exactly what she intended it to do, I'm sure, and that was engage the mind, touch the heart, and make people think, evoke emotion, and create that experience. That's what this did. This created discussion. This created a lot of strong emotions. But what you have to do, or you don't have to do, but what we all should do is when something affects us that way, we should take a step back, detach, and read it and experience it as they express it. So there's a lot of very strong words in this post, but it's beneficial. It's there to promote growth, and just because you can't handle it the way she expresses it doesn't mean that it's automatically stupid. It doesn't mean that it's automatically ignorant, or that she could have said it a different way. Because my energy and the way I am, I cannot handle people saying fuck, or I can't handle such crass behavior. I can't handle such words. They influence me and they hurt me. Now, if you don't like the language of a post, that's fine. You can say that. But don't discredit the expression and the expressive nature of someone's work because you don't like the way it's expressed.
Exactly. I mean, people get so easily offended nowadays, and
I'm offended right now.
Almost blame the whole Love and Live movement just a little. Not completely, because this is not everyone believes that, not everyone expresses that way, but it's like, I want everything in my life to be positive, and I want zero conflict. I don't want to see anything that I don't agree with. I don't want to be around people who don't think exactly like I think. And that is detrimental to your health.
It's not just detrimental, it's ignorant.
It is. Well, because, okay, and this, I was expressing this to Michael and Hunter before the show starts. In astrology,
oh shit,
you have cool lines and you have hot lines. You have blue lines, red lines, okay? And a lot of astrologers will tell you that the red lines, as much as they are conflict, are what helps you grow. If you go through your entire life easy, with no challenges, with no pain, with no anything, you will be, well, kind of dumb. Very inexperienced. I hate to say dumb, but very inexperienced. You will have a very big shock if anything in your little comfort zone changes. To the point, honestly, that even the smallest change can put you into a bad mental state. It's not healthy. So you have to look at all points of life, not just the bright ones, the shiny ones, the pretty ones, but the nasty ones and the dark ones and the bloody ones, because that is what makes you who you are. That is what gives you a complete look at the way life is. Giving birth is a beautiful thing. It is also a painful and bloody thing. The beginning of life starts with almost death. Women are the most close to death when they are birthing a child. Your life starts with pain and hurt and anguish and joy and happiness and love. It starts with every emotion there is.
And I
so
think,
you have to understand that.
right, and I think that's, and before we move on, after this little discussion, I think that's kind of the whole point of this fucking blog post. It's not necessarily anti-love and light. It's saying that we need to honor everything that we go through. We should not deny, and there is absolute beauty in what we label as darkness. There is beauty in our suffering. There's beauty in our challenge. There's beauty in our hurt. There's beauty in our pain. You can find love through those expressions. You can find love through those things, because through challenge and through hurt and through all of these things that we process, that people call the exact opposite, the anti-love and light, they show us more of who we are. They show us those who matter to us. They bring about all of these different beliefs and these patterns, and they inspire us and they move us to find and connect with. I'm using my goddamn hands too much. So they move us to find and connect with people that we truly love, that we truly care for. So to deny, and I think that's what this blog is saying, at least it says to me, to deny those challenging experiences, to only focus on one aspect, it's very damaging, because when you experience something that is the exact opposite of what you keep lying to yourself about, you don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to see the beauty of the experience that you were given. You don't always see the beauty in it right away anyways, but yeah, so that blog post is wonderful, and just, read it again and see it from a different view, and ask yourself, why are you mad at it? Why are you mad at the way it is expressed? If it was expressed a different way, if it had better language, whatever is expressed as better, whatever you think is better language or more appropriate language, how would you feel about the article then? That's not something that many people have asked themselves. Like, they just automatically attack the article. But if it was in a language that you can understand and you can, digest, would you be okay with that? That's something that you need to think.
Adversely, ask yourself why you agree. Why do you agree with it? Why is it something that rings true to you? And that, we live in a, and I hate to say this, but it's so true. We live in this world where all of a sudden in the last 20 years, everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets a certificate. Everyone is great at being whatever the fuck they are, which is wonderful in a way, and it's great when you get recognized for the greatness that you are.
Or aren't.
But at the same time, let's not look at the other side of that and say, well, did that culture change? Did that, where everybody is so entitled, did that not verge into the witch world with this love and light stuff? And I had a friend that literally in one conversation deleted me from Facebook and fucking blocked me, because she didn't agree with what I said. And that is the problem that I have with the whole argument. But the article, again, like you said, it's not saying fuck love and light. It's like saying, well, let's love and light and darkness as well.
Right. I'll say one last thing, and then we can move on if y'all want to. But to me, if you have a serious problem with the article, then maybe you should look inward and see why. If you have a problem, because usually what you hate about other things, or what you strongly, dislike, is something you're seeing in yourself that you don't like. That's not something I came up with. That is a psychological theory that has been around for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
I would definitely take a time, like Michael said, and look within and examine and see really why you dislike it. Is it because it speaks the truth that you don't want to hear? And that is very possible. We all, sometimes there's just truths we don't want to hear. Trust me, that happens to me like every day.
Yeah, and another thing that we should consider is sometimes when something is so common and so popular, such as love and light and namaha, blah blah blah. When one side is expressed so often and again is very popular, sometimes the other side, when someone speaks up and out for the other aspect, you have to speak louder. You have to speak in a way that is going to get someone's attention. This got attention, and so we have to take that into consideration. Maybe the tone was raised to an extreme level for some because they're so used to thinking this way. Mm-hmm. So that happens. That happens often, and I kind of want to that the whole better makes me want to kind of talk about a little bit of what we were discussing, was it yesterday in chat, and then it made my whole rant about, witches having to be the better witch, having to be the bigger and better practitioner. I think that's important. I think that should be kind of shared because a lot of people think, and this more so, it's about malediction and handling a situation with witchcraft. But usually, what we're taught is, you have to be the bigger and better witch. So if someone's doing something, if someone is bothering you, if you're experiencing something, you have to wait. You have to wait. You have to pray. You have to meditate. You have to go hum fucking Gaia something or other. You have to go the mundane route. You have to try and do all this shit. But what you feel, that current, that influence, that power, that energy, is saying you have to act. But because we're taught we have to be the bigger and better person in a situation, don't know what that really means, we wait, and then we end up getting fucked over even worse because we wait.
Mm-hmm. I love this topic, by the way.
But yeah, it really is about stepping into the power of a witch and stepping into your full power. So I think that we should discuss that. Like, why do we have to be better, and what does that mean? What does being a bigger and better witch mean in this situation, in this expression?
Well, it's so funny that you brought this up. My card of the day today was very much kind of about this whole expression. We are taught that you should hide serious emotion. Not only are we taught, but it's what society expects of us. In fact, I read this amazing article here not so long ago. I think the Heathen Homesteader is the one that posted it, I believe. And it was talking about how when women get pissed off about something and they express that something, they're called a crazy bitch. Oh, she just went crazy. She just went crazy because she's upset. And a lot of it had to do with, like, Beyonce's new album. Because, hey, be nice. Sorry, my spirit of Robert commenting. But anyway,
thank you, Robert.
But it is true though. When a woman gets upset, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen to men either. Men actually, it's the whole other side of the coin. You're supposed to be stoic and non-expressive, and don't you dare show emotion because that's not manly, but women are crazy. If we if we are pissed and get mad, society's like, oh, she's being crazy. Oh, she must be on the rag. That must be her problem.
I am so bad at this, like, what you're expressing, because I say it all the time.
But it's in a way it's not your fault because it is truly something that society projects every day.
Talking about expressing things that you don't truly believe and you don't truly hold power to that. I was raised primarily by women, so I know that women can be entirely fucking batshit crazy all their own, with no reason for it. They just can. Just like men can be entirely batshit crazy for no fucking reason, just because they are. There's no rhyme or reason about it. There's, I'm fucking clear. I'm crazy sometimes. Like, if something pisses me off, I have a Aries type temper. I'm like, don't hold my tongue, go straight for it, what the fuck ever, and we're gonna fucking talk about it. We're gonna communicate, and we're gonna figure out what the fuck's bothering me. That's how I am. But I do that all the time. I'm like, if my wife is like crabby, I'm like, God, are you PMSing? Like, is there? And she does. She gets so mad about it. But I do. I say that a lot, so I can't really say about that.
Yeah, but like I said, it's very much a society norm, and so we don't express.
It is unfortunate, like that being the norm, because that's like what you automatically think, and it's also unfortunate that normally when that not normally, but a lot of times when that happens, it's confirmed. But it doesn't make the woman feel better. It's like, yes, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm feeling, but now that you said this, it kind of makes that even more true, because every time, and that makes each and every person, like when they say, are you like on the rag? Because now they're kind of intuitive, they're paying attention to the energies, they're not knowing it, but every time they say, are you on the rag, when they see that. But it's so unfortunate that that's the only time, that's the only reason why we pay attention, we're aware of when someone is menstruating.
Right. Well, and also it kind of invalidates their emotion. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't count now because your hormones are raging. Well, and that is what pisses me off. Because honestly, a lot of times, and this, I'm just speaking from my own experience, I will have more courage to say what I think I need to say when my hormones are raging. It's my hormones are like, fuck it, let's just say what we mean.
At this time, adversely, I will say that it can also be some sort of power for the woman as well, because it gives them an excuse. Because in a woman's head, they're like, oh, I have to, because the societal norm tells you that women should just like close their mouths and be that they're like oddly enough, they're more the fucking intuitive, very like they should know when to speak. The 50s housewife in the play, that is still very much a part of this society and the thought process that we still have, but it almost gives it power. It gives an excuse. Well, I'm sorry that I was a bitch to you, but I was on my period. So
that's another thing that I feel like is
like
a
when
problem.
women are pregnant and they're like shoving, they're like glutton for punishment with literal food, and they're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna eat peanut butter and pickles and ice cream bars and potato chips and everything.
I think that's also.
I'm pregnant, so it's okay. And
I think.
Like, it's that power. It's that power that they hold as an excuse because of that. So as much as it can be a drawback, it also can be a cone of influence.
Well, I can kind of agree, and I also, in a sense, disagree, because it is like, and again, y'all, I have dick, so I don't know, like, I'm not a woman, so I can't really say. I can say what I've experienced on the outside, like, from having a lot of female friends, but I cannot say personally. From what I've observed and what I've been told and experienced on different levels, it is power. Like, when a female is menstruating, it's a very powerful thing. It's something that should be honored, but it should not be associated with an excuse. It should not be associated with. And I know a lot of, I'm not saying everyone, but I know personally a lot of women who take advantage of that, in a sense where they will be fucking cunts because they can.
Oh, definitely.
And their husband, their boyfriend, or their male individuals, or even females, but even most females are like, I know the truth. But they're like being so horrible. But they're like, oh well, I'm bleeding from this area, and they're like, I don't hear.
Right. It's like, it's not. Honestly, I don't like that either, because it takes away from something that, to me, is, I don't want to be all weird and say sacred, but it kind of is. You know, to me, that's
Well,
the,
it is.
I'm very intuitive during that time. I feel more connected to my body at that time, you know, and to the people around me. And I don't like it whenever it's used as an excuse by women or anyone else. But I also don't like it when people try to make everything that comes out of your mouth become totally invalid by saying, "Oh, well, she must be menstruating."
Right.
And the same for men, though. I cannot stand it whenever people are like, "Oh my gosh, he expressed emotions." Ugh, that is so unmanly. You know, screw that. Screw that. I'm sorry. If it is resonating with you so much, if it is something that you feel so strongly about, you need to release it. You need to let it out. Whether it is through a blog post or bitching and yelling or going off into the country, into the woods and screaming and, and hollering, or calling up your best friend and say, "Oh, dear God, please let me rant because I really need this right now." Or a painting, or creating a album like Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. If that wasn't a release of some anger, I don't know what the hell is.
Right?
You know? And you can feel that emotion. You can feel it, and it's amazing. Some of the most creative and genius things have been birthed through anger.
Some of the powerful spells that I have ever had were brought out of a very heightened emotional state. So that's just I love being my emotions being heightened. If I was like totally like fucking stoned all the time and so even and so fucking, you know, this line of evenness, then I wouldn't be as strong of a witch, in my opinion.
Well, and I think we just, you know, in an ideal experience, we just need to stop putting, you know, these specific labels. Like, we just need to be, you know, the body is sacred. The masculine, feminine, everything in between is all sacred. No one should have to express themselves a specific way. We are so unique, therefore, we express ourselves through a sacred nature. And how we choose to express ourselves is how we choose to express ourselves. It is not defined if we are masculine, feminine, if we are, you know, any which way. It defines who we are as spirit. So when we express something, when something comes through us, when we, you know, share and we feel and we might cry or we might laugh, like that is all manifest, that is all a physical manifestation of a spiritual experience. And that is not, you know, whether you have a dick or whether you have any, it's nothing like that. It has to do with spirit. It has to do with energy. It has to do with who we are as soul.
Right, exactly. Susie says, "I'm a slow burner Gemini. If I don't eventually lose my temper, I'll contemplate devious ways to tackle a situation." And that's so true. But, you know, honestly, in contemplating devious ways to tackle a situation, I find that I'm more creative with stronger emotions are in play. You know, I will paint some crazy thing, or I will create something that's just like fabulous for me at the time, or whatever. You know, that creation is truly inspired by emotion.
Absolutely. You know? Emotion, and it's common sense witchery. Emotions are fuel. They drive us and they inspire us. They empower us, and we create power through emotion.
Right. Which is why I tell you, like, if you're going to cast any type of malediction or any kind of hex work, to be pissed when you're doing it. Like, be as pissed as you can possibly be angry, be, you know, just infuriated. Because it fuels that spell beautifully. Because you are mad, and when you are mad, the energy that just rolls out of you is amazing. It's honestly, in a way, very beautiful.
It is, and like, well, and you know, with malediction or any other thing, I mean, I wouldn't totally advise you to try to, you know, perform a big blessing when you were angry and wanted to kill someone.
No.
But you know, but at the same time, even there's been maledictions that I've cast. It's both ways because the witch should be able to conjure that energy and fuel the spell without having to be that way. But that people will tell you so stupidly, wait until you're calmed down to make that decision.
Oh no.
You don't wanna curse it when you're mad. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard because you have that energy and it's so fresh and it's so raw. Fucking use it. Like don't
exactly.
store it up and like let's talk about it later because then when you actually decide to do something, you don't give a fuck anymore, and
Right.
Exactly. You lose the desire. You lose the will to want to inflict that change.
Well, and the whole point of this, this ramble is about a better witch, and no one can tell you what is better for you. No one can define what better is. People usually define better as like, hunky-dory, fucking positive, angelic, wings, we're happy, we're floating in the fucking clouds, haha, whatever.
Rise above. Rise above.
Like, exactly. Yes, that's the whole thing. Is people are that's usually the expression of better. You want to be not where you are, and the whole beauty of our experience is we have to listen to where we currently are so we can make changes for ourselves. And when we decide to be elsewhere, that is our choice, that is our decision. So when we are currently in a situation and we want to handle it, yes, it's smart to think about it for a second or two, but when you know, and you must act upon that. Don't wait 5 fucking months to take care of something that you're going to take care of. Handle it and embrace it. Don't allow outside influence to tell you that you need to be the better witch. The better witch is being you. The better witch is embodying the spirit that you are and taking charge of your own experience and making decisions for yourself. It's not allowing outside influence, outside words, outside individuals to taint you. You need to embody yourself and follow suit the way you deem fit.
Right. Well, Robert just made a good point earlier. He's like, you always tell me to rise above. And I was like, but that's when you're at work and dealing with dumb people. Because there is a time and place where you kind of do have to rise above. Well, when you're at work and you are dealing with some idiot and you're going to lose your job if you really unload and tell them how you really feel, obviously, you probably shouldn't. Now, but when it comes to what you're experiencing personally through other people that is you, be you. Don't be, society expecting, society says I have to be this way, you, or censored you. Just be you.
And naturally, if Robert was going to cast a spell on someone that he was pissed off with at work, you would totally let him do
different.
It. Totally different. You'd be like,
totally different.
Go for it. But yes, I totally agree. This reminds me, months back. Wow, it might have been a couple years. My time is ridiculous in my head. But I was told by a certain someone in the YouTube community that owning up to being an asshole disempowered me, and it made me not live through my shadows. And when I called myself an asshole, that just meant that I was ignoring my shadow, and I was not working through any of my shadow work like I was supposed to. And it was so pompous and so fucking ridiculous. How dare you say that I disempower myself by calling myself an asshole? Number one, who the fuck are you? Number two, if I want to call myself an asshole, I can call myself an asshole because...
Slim Shady, that's who I am.
Because, I know when I'm being an asshole, and I know when I can stop being an asshole, and I know when I continue to do so even when I shouldn't. So, yes, that's just knowledge of who the fuck I am, bitch. That has nothing to do with, whether or not you think I'm working through my shadow or not. Knowledge itself is the most important thing about being a witch. So and then you choose to ignore when you continue to be an asshole in unfortunate circumstances. But at the same time, you're just fucking, some people are just fucking assholes, and I'm not I don't consider myself that big of an asshole all the time, but can I be? Of course I can be. And I don't think that owning up to your unsavory sides are necessarily disempowerment or not working through your shadows, and that's just like being, the better witch or the best witch, or, be the better witch and rise above and all that bullshit. It's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to judge someone else's anything?
And I do, yeah.
If you do judge, I mean, because I judge, I'm not gonna lie.
Everyone judges.
I'm gonna judge you. If you come in my presence, I promise you I'm judging. Because I think that's just nature.
It is. It's a human condition. It truly is.
It's a human condition, and so I'm gonna judge you, but I'm not gonna tell you you're doing something wrong. And I'm probably.
He will.
He totally will. That's a lie.
Totally will. But in that way, if you want to fucking call yourself a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater, who the fuck am I to tell you not to? Like, go for it. If you think you can fly, and
what happened to the second horn?
Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Well, I don't care. But that's just, don't tell people to be the better witch and adversely tell them not to cast, because
I don't like the term unsavory, because I know we need labels and we need certain things to express ourselves and utilize our language to share and get our point across, but saying something is unsavory, as in it's a negative trait, I don't feel like our negative traits are negative. They're just simply what and who we choose to be, or what we are and who we are at that time, and it's necessary. And we learn from it, or we don't learn from it, but it's not necessary.
I don't think that unsavory is negative.
I don't think it is, but most people would utilize it in a negative way.
Right. But as soon as they're in trouble, they want that unsavory person. They
do.
That unsavory character. And that's the thing. It's all about perspective. Once you're pissed or someone's hurt you, then all of a sudden you want that deviant witch sitting by your side as whatever graphic says. But you do. You do. So instead of casting judgment every time you turn around, and we all know those people, yes, being judgmental is a human condition. But then there's those people who are like, oh my God, Becky. Constantly.
And it's hilarious because we're judging.
We are.
Judging.
Well,
it's one of those things, and we're owning up to it. It's not that we're not.
Exactly.
It's like we're not going to sit on here and be super fucking oblivious to the fact that we're not judging whoever the fuck we're talking about. And in this situation, we're not even talking about specific one person or specific people. No. This is just a human action or a witch action on that matter. So it's
not only that, we can also understand where it comes from. We understand what causes it. People that are extremely judgmental are insecure about one thing or another. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something they have to work out with themselves. We understand. I understand where those emotions and those reactions come from. And it's just a matter of growing.
It's out of fear.
Definitely. It is.
Of control.
Fear or ignorance, or change, and the resistance to change, or the resistance to difference.
So okay, yeah, and I want to talk about one more thing before we close out, but and you all can pick. But before we do that, there's a few things I want to say. Y'all, if there's something you want to talk about, there's something you want to bring up, feel free. The Q&A is up. We are here to discuss. It's anything witchcraft related. Again, if you want to discuss something, post it. We'll talk about it. Cool. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that this is I think we're gonna start doing this as a regular segment or a regular show. And I want the goal to be actually to talk about current events in the witch community, current articles, current blog posts, things like that. Of course, we're gonna go awry and we're gonna go astray and we're gonna talk about whatever we talk about, but that is the goal. So if you come across something that you want us to address, please bring it to our attention, because the next Wine and Witchery we'll talk about it.
Well,
Right.
yeah. If there's
Totally.
like we'll process an article, we'll read it. If you want us our take on something, absolutely, I agree. Um, but before we transition, I just want to say the whole point of what this long ramble that we just did is that every witch is their own spirit, their own individual, and no one can tell you how to practice. Not even us, even though we will try probably a lot. But you are who you are, and be yourself. Practice as yourself. Cast as yourself. Do not cast as another person. If you have someone that you admire, don't cast as them. Cast as you. Interact with the spirits around you as you. Do what moves your spirit. Do what inspires you. Don't be influenced by other people because other people are just shitty.
And
You take inspiration from them, but at the end of the day, you have to handle things your own way. And if you want to lay down the law and dominate someone, yet the person that you admire is like not into that, I'm like, no, you got to follow a different path. Do what speaks to you. The witch has its own essence, its own energy that receives messages, and you need to follow that. You know.
And own it. Please own it.
and just
Own
don't.
it.
I'm not like you said. We're probably gonna tell you how we think you should go about it, just because we do that. But my piece of advice, my actual piece of advice to anyone in whatever situation, just don't discount anything. Don't count anything out. Don't say you won't, because witchcraft is like everything. It's so fluid, and it's so changing, and it's so, you know, I can look at myself, and I've been practicing since I was 14, avidly practicing, or organized practicing, I should say. And when I was 14, my entire thought process was completely different. My entire brain was different 3 or 4 years ago versus now. There's things that I would do now that I would have never even dreamed of back then. But I think putting limitations on yourself is serious. You're doing yourself a disservice. So don't say you won't do something. Don't count this out. Don't hold that limit. Have limits and have boundaries, but don't say you'll never do it. And don't say that you won't look into it and research it and try to understand it for what it is, no matter what it is.
And that goes for like all aspects of your life.
Exactly.
But in truth, and you have boundaries, yes, but always seek to like surpass those boundaries. Always seek to like have adventure and create even more a wonderful experience. And again, just follow yourself. Follow what you feel called to. What do you want to talk about next before we like peace, motherfuckers? So we should talk about one more thing if we can, if we have time, really quickly. Anything else that was on your mind that you want to talk about?
Well, we were gonna go into retro on your mind thing, but I don't think we have enough time for that.
No, we can talk about something we kind of talked about already. Let's talk about vending machine deity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or not treating your deities like vending machines.
Right. There is, okay, so this is something that I read today. It popped up on my newsfeed. It's from the blog Amor et Mortem, and the blog post was called Our Gods Are Not Vending Machines. And it kind of goes incredibly awry in this weird area, but the first part of it was really good. And basically what she said was that she had this friend that unfriended her on Facebook for whatever reason, and this reason was cited because she disagreed with doing this working. This particular working was like a love working, but she posted, I think it was Rachel, but that's just what this woman called her. Her code name was Rachel. So I've been doing some research on which goddess to call upon. I've narrowed my choices down to the following: Frigga Freya, Erzuli Frida, Astarte, and one Slavic goddess whose name I can't pronounce. Anna,
and this is about a love working, by the way. She wanted to attract a man, not just any man, but like a life partner.
Well, see, here's my issue. Well, there's a lot of issues because just the ones that she just picked randomly, I think, are odd. Anyway, anyway, the point is behind this whole thing is that it's disrespectful to the gods because you're treating them as if you can just summon them randomly and have them work with you with no previous relationship, no even. You're basically summoning, you're invoking something that you've never invoked before and expecting them to just totally work for you. And that's so disrespectful on so many levels and just awful in and of itself. But you can't just pick and choose. You can't just say, you can't like going up to a vending machine and saying, I want to work with Freya. She is on E3. Put in your 25 cents and watch it, totally drop.
Well, a funny part of that article, and I thought she like encaptured this very well. She's like, "That's if you went to a stranger's house and walked in and was like, I want a key lime pie now."
Exactly.
They'd be like, "Fuck you, bitch! Get out of my house." You know?
It's like it's the most ridiculous thing to really when you think about it. But people don't have the respect for these higher energies like they should.
Can I just say, though, like, and this I think most people will I hope you understand that this is wrong. It's like if you were to see someone and just start fucking them, like, that you can't do that. Like, that's considered something very serious, and we don't do that. But, no, you don't do that. So why would you do that with a deity? So you would get to know the person, you would build a relationship, you would then be like, okay, we're ready for, fucking, and then you do. But you don't just go from one stage of a relationship to, like, you just don't. Like, that's not okay. So if that's not okay, like...
Well, it's disrespectful. I mean, that's like rape, basically.
Well, exactly, and that's kind of why I express it, because most people don't fathom, they cannot comprehend that it's kind of the same way with deity, yet deity has more power, therefore, they will fuck you.
Right, well, it's kind of like watching a show or reading something about Papa Legba and then trying to offer him, like, vodka. That's an offering.
Yeah.
It's not really going to happen. At least not regular vodka. You better be throwing some peppers in that shit.
All I can see is like American Horror Story Coven and cocaine.
Yes.
Like,
yes. I love the guy who played him. To me, he was like perfecto. I mean, he was perfect for that role. But, but people do this. They're like, well, I gave an offering to so-and-so, and now they're going to do what I want. And no. If you have not worked with them, if you don't have a relationship, you can go up to any random person on the street and hand them something like a $20 bill and say, hey, could you help me out with moving this weekend? And they'll take your money and you'll never see them again.
Well, and at the same time, in the same situation, they might help you a little bit, but you'll have to pay them even more to keep helping you.
Exactly.
So if you have a relationship with the deity, if you have this experience, you take care of them constantly, they take care of you. There's this ebb and flow. There's this essence where, you're part of that and they are part of you. You have that history, you have that relationship, therefore they're more apt and more willing to cover you.
Right, and honestly, I could say the only deity that I've ever really worked with that is like extremely laid back and will do just whatever, and really doesn't. Not whatever, but they don't require you to have a very strong bond to work with. Is Ganesh. Like Ganesh is totally hippie chill. Like, I love everybody and will help everybody, and he truly is. Like, when you develop a relationship with him, he is truly that way. He accepts and loves everyone equally, but there are so few deities that are like that. Like, if you use Ganesh, that is great. You know, go ahead, petition him. He'll probably help you. But he'll also make you pay because he'll throw some shit in your way that's going to make you grow as well as clearing the way for that, like, one day or whatever.
Exactly, and it's also understanding the energies of this, and this is why you should really study up on mythology. Mythology is not everything, but working with a worshiping, working with whatever, having a relationship with a deity. It's not everything, but it's like Aphrodite.
At least know how to pronounce their name.
Right.
For fuck's sake.
Like Aphrodite, for example.
Hey, girl.
I see so many people, and it makes me laugh. Kinda, it makes me laugh, but they're gonna get what they deserve. So many people are like put Aphrodite on like their love altar to honor their relationship and honor their commitment. Sweetheart, Aphrodite was not faithful to her husband.
Well, not only that, she's a goddess of love and war. People forget that she was also a war goddess, and that pisses me off. She was mean. She had a very analytical, I will fuck you up and you won't even know it's me kind of attitude.
Exactly. It's like, you know, she was not. You don't want to work with her so that your husband's gonna stay faithful to you, or your wife's gonna stay faithful.
Yeah, you want to work with her if you're gonna want.
You work with Hera if you're gonna stick with the Greek.
Exactly. Like it's okay. In this article, Freya. Oh my God. Why would you use to get like a long-term committed relationship? Why would you use Freya? Because that is an aspect of her. You have to take her for everything when you work with a deity. You have to take her for everything.
Well,
Freya was a prostitute. Okay, she literally had sex with just for like what is it the necklace? Didn't she have sex with like several dwarves? So that she could like attain a necklace. I can't remember the mythology.
Yeah, it was something like that, but it was over jewelry. I remember that.
It was like you can't just take and choose aspects of them. It's like, ooh, it's not sprinkles versus nuts here. Like, sprinkles and nuts.
I like both.
The gods are not fucking allergic.
I can't choose. It's too hard.
But it's rather annoying, and whenever they totally ignore, it's like people who are all, and I know we've talked about this before, but people are all, Gaia, she will love you, and she will embrace you, and she is love, and I'm like, bitch, Gaia will fuck you up. She will like knock your house to the ground and swallow you whole. What are you talking about? This is the goddess who produces tornadoes and earthquakes and tsunamis and what? Love and light? What?
No, honey.
That reminds me of Santa Claus.
She ain't about that life.
Right.
But I do, okay, so I want to add to what Miss Susie, who we absolutely adore, she just said, I think when people do, as the article highlighted, these folk really do not know what they are connecting with, and that's absolutely true. And that's kind of why that is exactly why 50-50. We express what we do because you should not connect. It's dangerous. It's very damaging to the witch and to the person if they're not a witch, if they're trying to connect with some shit. But anyways, it's very damaging to the spirit when you try to call on deity and you're not prepared for it, because I don't feel like anyone's truly prepared, but when you build a relationship, you slowly align with intensity of energy. But when you're petitioning or trying to work with a deity and you don't know fuck about them, you're most likely not ready to handle such essence coming through, and they will come a lot through you. But really, on so many levels. But no, seriously, the energy is so high and intense. Like it can very well be damaging and harmful to someone. And I've communicated with people who have had negative experiences with deities I've experienced, and I've not had that, but they have, in essence, been disrespectful to that deity. So, again, it can be very damaging to you if you don't build that relationship, and that's why we express that. But if you choose not to build that relationship and you choose to experience them without, without any proper research and any proper offerings and experiences, then that's on you.
Right. And everyone's experience with certain deities are going to be slightly different. They're going to be very personal. But whenever you come up with something that's completely and totally against what that deity actually represents, no. You've connected with something else. I mean, there are going to be similarities, okay? So don't be offended, or try not to be offended when someone tells you, maybe you're not really connecting with that deity. It kind of makes me think of the magicians when she thinks that she's connecting with the one deity, and it's not. It's another deity. And it becomes a very bad experience. But she didn't know jack or shit about that deity. She didn't know anything. So it was very easy for her to be fooled by someone else, and every single pantheon has a trickster.
Well, and she was also she desired something so much, she did not pay attention to the warning signs. She did not anything. She wanted it so much that her judgment was clouded. She did not use proper discernment. She did not use any sort of detachment. Nothing, and that's the witch's best tool, really.
Definitely.
Is our detachment and our understanding.
And our intuition. I mean, if she had relied on her intuition, she would have known immediately what was wrong. And that is why you will hear a lot of witches say, deity comes to you.
And
you don't come to deity. And personally, that honestly is a pretty good rule of thumb, because at least then you know which deity you're talking to.
And and I put it to you like this, especially if anyone ever watches this that is like a newbie when it comes to this. People are horrified. If you were to tell someone go summon a demon, they would be like, oh, no, never. Then why the fuck would you summon a god and pretend that they have that power?
Because they have way more power than any demon that I know of.
You're just dumb. It's just like but society says that demons are bad, they're awful and blind. We can pray to like this wonderful love and light God, and everything's gonna be all right. But go ahead, do it. You're gonna have great effects.
Yeah, well, if you pay attention to the stories, right? If you pay attention to the stories, there is not one. Even the Christian God is not a love and light. They all have their wrathy, I'm going to smite you moments, I mean, Gaia, convinced her children to kill her husband,
Zeus raped the humans.
And Athena turned Medusa into a monster because she was being raped by Athena's boyfriend at the time. That was her fault. I mean, and that's a goddess of logic and wisdom that we're talking about here.
Right.
So.
In the end, we're just saying, don't fucking work with things you don't know anything about, and it's more for your safety, and it really is. That's, at the end of the day, it's just about your safety, because really. Don't do it.
If you call in Kali to help you with love, you're gonna have some issues. You're gonna have a rude awakening, slap in the face.
A good rule of thumb is don't. And I hate this, but I'm gonna say it. Don't summon what you can't banish.
Hi. Yeah.
This is a similar situation. If you're not far along in your craft where you can get fucking rid of it, don't bring it to you. It's just it's a good rule of thumb.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. In closing, this definitely will be a series. So, again, if y'all want to talk about anything else, feel free to let us know any specific blog posts, any videos, any subjects that you want to talk about, and we will talk about it. Is there anything else y'all would like to say before we close out?
No, I'm drinking this tonight. Since we are doing a wine and witchery, I feel like it is only fair that we just know what wine we're drinking at the moment.
Apothic Dark. And it's
Apothic Red.
But
I have Apothic Red in the refrigerator, or on the shelf over there.
I love Apothic Dark. So yummy. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yay! So I hope y'all enjoyed this experience. Again, if you want to discuss anything, if you want us to tackle anything, just send us a message, and we'll do so. But until next time, y'all, have fun. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Adios.
Bye.